For decades, the world has been told that World War II was a heroic fight between good and evil, a necessary war that saved humanity. History books talk about bravery, sacrifice, and victory. But what if this version of history is only what we were allowed to see? What if the real story of World War II is far darker, more disturbing, and intentionally hidden from the world? As the war erupted, governments quickly understood that controlling information was as powerful as controlling weapons. Newspapers were censored, journalists were silenced, radio broadcasts were scripted, images showing real suffering were locked away. The public was fed hope and patriotism, while behind the scenes, horrifying decisions were being made in secret rooms. One of the darkest truths of World War II is how civilian lives were treated as expendable. Entire cities were labeled as acceptable targets. Military planners knew exactly how many men, women, and children would die in bombing campaigns, yet these numbers were calmly written into reports. Innocent people were reduced to statistics, their lives traded for strategic advantage. In several cases, intelligence agencies intercepted enemy plans before major attacks took place. Codes were broken, messages were decoded. Leaders knew what was coming, yet action was deliberately withheld. Revealing this knowledge would expose secret intelligence systems. The warnings were ignored, bombs fell, thousands died, and the world was told nothing could have been done. Hidden within classified documents are records of secret experiments carried out during the war. Prisoners of war, civilians, and political prisoners were used as test subjects. People were frozen alive to study hypothermia. Others were exposed to chemical weapons, deadly gases, and extreme pressure. Infectious diseases were injected into bodies to observe how quickly death would come. These victims were not soldiers. They had no choice. Their names were erased, their suffering buried. While the world remembers concentration camps today, few people know how long information about them was ignored. Reports describing mass murder reached Allied leaders years before liberation. Escaped prisoners, aerial photographs, and intelligence summaries all confirmed the truth. Yet military strategy came first. Bombing railways leading to camps was delayed. Rescue was postponed. Millions waited for help that arrived too late. Another terrifying secret of World War II was the race for ultimate power. Nuclear weapons were not developed solely to end the war. They were also designed to send a message to the world. Entire cities were chosen as targets to measure destruction, radiation effects, and psychological terror. Survivors became lifelong victims, while governments justified the devastation as unavoidable. When the war finally ended, justice was not equal. Some war criminals were placed on public trial and punished. Others, especially scientists and intelligence experts, were quietly protected. Their knowledge was considered valuable. In exchange for freedom, they were given new identities and new lives. Their crimes disappeared into classified archives. The victims were forgotten. Propaganda ensured that a simplified version of the war survived. Films portrayed clean battles and noble victories. School textbooks focused on dates, generals, and outcomes. The moral compromises, secret deals, and calculated cruelty were removed. Nations needed heroes, not uncomfortable questions. Years later, as classified documents were slowly declassified, historians were shocked. Decisions that cost hundreds of thousands of lives were made in minutes. Leaders understood the consequences and accepted them. Victory was achieved, but at a moral cost that still shapes global politics, warfare, and trust between nations. World War II did not just change borders. It perfected systems of surveillance, propaganda, psychological warfare, and secrecy. Modern conflicts still use strategies born during those years. The methods of control, misinformation, and manipulation were refined in the shadows of the war. The most frightening truth is not what happened during World War II, but what humanity learned from it. That truth can be hidden, that suffering can be justified, that history can be rewritten by those in power. And the final question remains unanswered. If every secret had been revealed in real time, would the world have acted differently? Or would people have accepted the lies for the comfort they provided? World War II officially ended in 1945, but its darkest secrets never did. They remain buried in locked files, forgotten testimonies, and silent graves. History remembers only what it is allowed to remember. And sometimes the most powerful weapons are not bombs or armies, they are secrets.